If you don't get these dating events right, then they can be a bit naff.
You might be chasing an Undertaker, but cold feet won't do. And since when was any event I organised naff?
Well, so long as it's not a meat market.
That's the point.
Oh.
But Christina's going to be veggie tonight, I'll make sure of it.
How?
I'm going to rig it.
How?
Give me a warm pair of balls and I'm going to work my magic.
I beg your pardon?
Well, that's how they fix cup drawers.
The talk of the street.
Talk of the street.
The talk of the street.
Talk of the street.
The talk of the street.
Talk of the street.
The talk of the street.
Talk of the street.
Hello and welcome to episode 376 of The Talk of the Street, an unofficial Coronation Street catch-up podcast that at least gave us some options for boring moment of the week this week. I'm Gavin.
And Charlie, the novel's in the mail.
Private joke.
Private joke.
How are you this week?
I've had better weeks.
You had better weeks?
Yes.
I've had better weeks too.
I ate fried food tonight and it's not agreeing with me. I never eat fried food anymore.
See.
And I accidentally, I didn't get the pad thai that I usually get because it's too spicy. And I didn't think that I could get it less spicy. So I just picked a random thing on the menu that looked good. And it wasn't what I thought. I thought it would be something with like a nice almond sauce instead of fried chicken with some almond slices thrown in on top of it.
You take your chances with Chinese food. And you think you'd sign up to the fact that you're probably going to feel a little off afterwards. I hadn't eaten anything today, so I don't feel that bad at all. But
I don't typically feel bad afterwards eating Chinese food because I typically get something that's not fried. But it just happened to not be my day when it came to Chinese food. And from now on, we know that I can get the pad thai less spicy. So that will solve that problem.
when I asked the woman, she looked at me as if I was daft and said, of course you can. You can get it no spice or you can get it mild or medium.
Yeah, that's what I figured. But
I
you
just
said no.
I just didn't see where you could select that. And to be honest, I still don't see where you can select that.
In the notes. You just write in the notes. Less spice.
I don't have a jingle for this.
Less spice pad thai. It's not that I don't like any spice. 'Cause I do like spice.
You didn't really like those hot ones Pringles that I got this week.
Those are hot ones Pringles. That's not spice. That's hot.
It really
That
is
is
hot.
not. That's not intended to give you flavor. That's intended to light your tongue on fire.
The more you eat,
It's different.
the better it tastes. Once you kind of numb your tongue a little bit, they actually taste okay.
Yes, that's it. In order for things to taste good, you have to numb your taste buds.
Yeah, you have to go through a certain amount of pain before you can enjoy crisps, can't you?
Hey.
Look at us.
Look at us.
They're hot ones Pringles. What's not to love?
That's why they've sat there for like 2 weeks now.
That's the best type of Pringles. It's like once you pop, as it turns out, you really
can't
can stop.
stop.
A tube of Pringles lasting more than a week.
It's weird.
Who's heard of this?
It's weird, man.
There's still half a tube left. I'm starting to eat them a bit more regularly.
It's more than half a tube, I think. It's like
Yeah,
3/4.
You maybe need to check that out.
Oh, okay. Well, I just won't. Because I'm not going to eat them.
All right, shall we preamble, my dear?
Yes, please.
Give us some of that.
Spicy.
Never mind how my week was. Corrie news.
How was your week, my darling?
Oh, it's too late for that. We've moved on. We've moved on. As soon as I can find this fucking... There we go.
Denise Black, who played former Ken Barlow paramour Denise Osborne, a.k.a. mum to one Daniel Osborne. I'm surprised they didn't name him Dennis, which would be perfect, is joining the cast of Waterloo Road.
That's where all the stars go, isn't it?
I know. Isn't it amazing?
I've never
Everybody's
seen an
going to
episode of
Waterloo
it.
Road.
I couldn't tell you what it is.
No, it's a crime thing.
Is it?
It's a police
I thought it was about
procedural.
zombies.
It's a police procedural.
it?
Yeah. Yeah, because remember, what's her name?
It's set in a school.
I thought for sure it was a police procedural.
It's set in a school. They're all teachers.
Because isn't what's her name? The woman who played Pamela, the lesbian who wore her clothes in the hot tub with Sally. Isn't she on Waterloo Road now? As a cop?
I've no idea.
I don't know. Anyway, it has been reported that Shanique Sterling Brown has quit the cobbles. Considering how they've botched her character, Dee Dee, I'm not really shocked. And frankly think it's a bad look.
Yeah, as the kids are saying these days, the optics aren't great.
They really aren't. They really aren't.
Really disappointed in this one.
Yeah, me too.
Because
we love Dee Dee.
she
And we
was
love
the saviour.
Shanique.
She was the saviour of the Baileys when she came into the show.
Her and Ronnie.
Yeah, the path that her character's taken recently is questionable. It's
terrible.
At best. So
She came in, she was great, and then they decided that they were going to put her in the female trauma loop that they put all of the female characters through, and it's just, yeah. If you're going to give her like a horrible relationship with Joel, fine. But then maybe give her a good relationship instead of whatever the hell Ollie is.
and don't make her a committed
Christian.
yeah, who is sworn to not have sex before
celibacy,
marriage,
yeah.
and then have her have sex before marriage, and then get
Right.
pregnant.
Just one time. When she's really sad about her best friend dying.
Yeah, that was really. I mean, you can just mark the actual moment where that character just fell off a cliff.
Yeah. Yeah. Shanique deserves better.
Oh, 100%.
Yes.
And it's interesting that it's worded that she quit.
Yeah.
That it's not ambiguous at all in the language. They're very
No.
clear that if again, this is as reported, but
Right.
as far as I can make out, our final scenes are not too far away.
In the future, no. Considering how long and drawn out the Aggie disappearance was, and how it seemed very hush hush and nobody was talking about it, and it was weird.
Right.
You know, yeah. Yeah. Bad optics all around. And finally, after all of that, congrats to the show as Corrie wins Best Soap, Vicky Myers wins Best Actress, Best Storyline goes to Mason's Death, Jack P. Shepard wins Best Comedic Performance, finally.
He had to wrestle that from the grasp of Maureen Lipman, who I think has won it the past 4 years.
Yeah. And Swarla wins Best Partnership at the Inside Soap Awards. So finally, Coronation Street has found an awards show where they can win. The one that's voted by the fans. Or voted online for.
Are you suggesting some shenanigans here? In a show that we podcast about?
I always feel kind of, because I feel the same way about like the People's Choice Awards and things like that. I'm always kind of a little suspect. And also those are kind of boring because they already know that they've won before they go in. The People's Choice, not Inside Soap. But still, especially in the age of social media where bots can probably vote for this.
Oh, you are suggesting some shenanigans then.
Right, but I don't think that ITV is the only one who does it. I am sure that for this sort of thing, lots of studios and lots of production companies are at least thinking about the bots.
See, I can look at Vicky Myers winning Best Actress and agree. I can look at Swallow being the best partnership and agree. I can look at the Mason storyline being the best storyline and agree because that was really well done.
Yeah.
Maybe not so much the Abby PTSD again aspect of it, but
Right.
that Mason episode was really, really good.
And I agree
And I
with...
can look at the Jack P. Shepard being the best comedy actor and say, sure,
Yeah,
we've sat through some really bad weeks
yeah,
in the last 12 months
Yeah.
of the show.
yeah.
I don't watch an awful lot of other
others,
soaps. I
no.
watch Neighbours, and that's never in the running.
No.
So it's difficult to say, well, this feels earned or it feels true. I find it difficult to reconcile with an awful lot of what I read from other people's opinions, that that this is Coronation Street firing all cylinders. It doesn't feel to me like it's firing all cylinders, but I can appreciate that the individual winners are earned and merited. But to see it go from so very little from other soap awards, from the NTAs,
Yeah.
from the British Soap Awards,
Being completely shut out.
being shut out, to winning a little
whole
batch is an interesting shift. Let's just put it that way.
Sure. And that's Corrie News.
Whew. Well, I think we got through that.
Yes.
Maybe we need a drink now.
No, you've been sober for 5 years now.
5 years sober.
5 years sober. Woot woot.
5 years sober and 35 years working for essentially the same company.
Correct.
What a waste of a life. And on that note, let's move on to our feedback section.
Hey,
Look at us.
am I a waste of your life?
Everyone's a critic. No, of course not.
Okay.
You're the highlight.
Thank you.
But sure, let's have my inner turmoils be compliments for you. Wendy writes, just missed last week's feedback section by mere minutes, or a good couple of hours, I can't remember which, to say, who's watching Alfie? I also find it funny that you never know who's coming out of Carol's bathroom.
That's true. You really don't.
It's the bathroom of surprise.
Yes. It's like the staircase of discovery.
Who's coming out the bathroom now? It's Abby.
Who's coming
out,
down the stairs looking for batteries for her vibrator? It's Abby.
Who's coming out the bathroom now? It's James. Who's coming out of the bathroom now? It's former UN General Secretary Boutros Ghali. If only.
Isn't he dead now?
Sure. Then Daisy writes, hello, Itchy and Scratchy.
I'm Scratchy.
Oh, damn it. Is that the first time Debbie has gone into Carl's room at the Rape Hotel? When did Debbie get so stupid? I wonder how many restaurants use synthetic truffle oil, and why oh why is Toya. Sending love to you both, and may your weeks be full of cranberry juice and ginger ale. Package incoming.
Is it a package of cranberry juice and ginger ale? Because I feel like we've got that covered.
This might be a saturated bit of cardboard then. We have been unable to check our P.O. box this week because of the fucking airstreams.
There are airstreams lining the streets of Eaton Rapids this weekend because, privileged elder white people with more money than they know what to do with buy airstreams and camp on the streets.
Airstreams are those silver trailers.
Yes. Yes. Which are very pretty, don't get me wrong. But not when they're keeping me from parking in front of
The post office.
the post office.
Every time I turn the corner onto the street, I'm like, oh, I know this shit again. They haven't done it in the longest time. It used to be an annual thing.
Right. Stop during COVID.
Never started back up again. Started now. And now you can't say, oh, no, this shit again, before people jump and you go, oh, yeah, it's just a couple of days. Yeah, it was a couple of days where I can't go to the post office and check my empty P.O. box.
If you just give me the code, I could check it.
Then Ian writes, nice of you to wonder about my whereabouts. I live in Manitoba.
Oh my goodness! Why did that is the last place I would look for Ian Les Paul.
Your cover's blowing, Ian. You're doing so well. My son, who lives in British Columbia, calls Manitoba the armpit of Canada. Only he doesn't say armpit. Manitoba is a fine province that has polar bears, for heaven's sake. A great place if you want to farm. 40-40-40 country. We always get 40 degrees C every summer. We always get minus 40 degrees C every winter, plus a 40 kilometre an hour wind most of the time. Book your holiday now.
Beautiful, beautiful Manitoba.
And then Ian says, Airbnb with your names on it.
Ooh.
Call it a Christmas present.
Ooh.
I'm intrigued. Tell us more, Ian.
Yes.
Keep on coming, says Ian. Thank you very much indeed. And then Cheeky writes, this week of Corrie had me all over the place, but mostly annoyed at the way the show keeps recycling tired beats and undermining characters who deserve better.
Thank you. Amen. Preach.
Monday set the tone with Jenny once again making a complete fool full of herself to impress George. How many times are we supposed to believe that grown woman who's run pubs and survived endless heartbreak is suddenly reduced to desperate antics for a man's attention? It makes no sense, and it cheapens her. Meanwhile, Debbie, using her detective instincts to catch Abby sneaking off to the hotel, was a rare win. Then Wednesday came round and reminded me why I still tune in. I had life, energy, and an atmosphere we haven't seen in years thanks to the festival-style setting. That shift outside the street was like a breath of fresh air. But Barbara Knox's Rita was truly brilliant, and the emotional send-off to Jenny wishing her the best on to pastures new. And then Theo getting confronted by someone from his past should have been the turning point, but nope, we're still stuck watching Todd lap up his excuses. Let's be real, the sex can't possibly be that good to justify
Amen.
this kind of willful blindness. Friday, Bethany's return was the best thing to happen in weeks. Not because it was shocking, but because it grounded her in flaws and messiness rather than saintly perfection. Letting her stumble and make mistakes puts her right where she should be, a believable woman in her 20s, trying and failing and trying again. Lucy Fallon finally gets to act her age, and the character is richer for it. So that was my ride this week. One episode that dragged everything down, one that actually dared to feel alive, and one that dangled something promising, but smothered it under the dead weight of Todd and Theo. Corrie can still hit, but it keeps on choosing to limp. Nicely done, Cheeky. Thank you very much indeed.
Yes.
Thank you to Cheeky, to Ian, to Daisy, and to Wendy for the feedback this week. It's always very much appreciated. Send us your thoughts and I'll read them out. Get us at thetalkofthestreet@gmail.com, or our DMs are open at Corrie Podcast, or we love it when people write actual letters to us. Send us your proper mail.
We've
and
got a
postcards.
corkboard now.
Yeah. To the Talk of the Street, P.O. Box 12, Eaton Rapids, Michigan, 48827. But please note that we reserve the right to edit feedback, but only in the interest of brevity. And now, let's podcast for coffee. I was a little premature hitting that button.
Yeah, it was a premature ejacupuncture. I don't know. A premature button pushing.
You say that happens to everybody.
Did I?
I don't know. Thank you to Cameron from Edmonton for our coffees this week.
Thank you, Cameron.
Oh, Gav, you always make me laugh when you talk about a character nipping out for a shite. I had to buy you coffee when this week you said one of Theo's kids was touching cloth. I didn't realise anyone else said that. I taught it to my 5-year-old daughter recently. Good job, Cameron. That's the thing I miss most about our Stelly being a proper teenager. Is
you
being able to say inappropriate things.
You can't teach her to say inappropriate things anymore.
Right. I'd got her doing a really good Ramsay Nesbitt impersonation. And I'd put quite a bit of work into it.
Remember when we took her to see the movie Brave, and the thing that she took from it was mooning people and telling them to feast their eyes.
Yes.
And we had to teach her not to do that in public.
Yeah, it took a few goes though, didn't it?
Yeah, remember when she did it in the library?
Feast your eyes, she would shout in a Scottish accent.
Yes. As a 3-year-old child mooning people in the library.
Cherish these times, Cameron. They're so precious. The Talk of the Street is and will always be free on your podcast provider and on the YouTubes. But if you think our show is worth anything more than the time it takes to listen to it, and if you want to show your appreciation, or if you want more weekly and monthly content, here are your options. Sign up to be a friend of the podcast for as little as $2 a month. You can sign up at patreon.com/the Talk of the Street, ko-fi.com, that's ko-fi.com/the Talk of the Street, or hit the join button on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/the Talk of the Street podcast. Friends of the podcast get access to our weekly spoiler show, The Talk of the Street Spoiler Alert, and our monthly classic Corrie show, The Talk of the Street Classics. And if that wasn't enough, you also get a shout out at the end of every episode and your name on the credits on the main show/flagship. If you prefer something a little less formal, you can do what Cameron did, and you can buy us next week's coffee by going to ko-fi.com, that's ko-fi.com/the Talk of the Street, and all our links can be found at linktree/Corrie Podcast. But remember, you can always support the podcast for free. It gets in front of new listeners by liking, subscribing, rating, and reviewing wherever you get your podcasts. All right, shall we dive in, my dear?
Yes, please.
Our first storyline this week is Sucks to be a Webster. On Monday, Abby is still sleeping on Kev's couch apparently, with his blessing, but not without his scorn at everything she says. It's her birthday, and Jack gives her a present. It's a dressing gown. She probably already has a white one at the Rape Hotel. Jack invites her for a birthday tea, and in the meantime, though, it's off to the Rape Hotel, but Abby isn't in the mood for any shenanigans of a Carol nature with Carl, so Carl quickly loses interest in the conversation and texts James for a hookup while Abby's still in the room.
Yeah. Class.
What is Carol's main driver?
His penis.
So it would seem. He's a simple man with simple pleasures. In the cabin, Debbie is gossiping to Rita and Jenny when Abby comes in, and Abby makes a big fuss about being the subject of tittle-tattle and getting stabbed in the back. She's got a fucking nerve, hasn't she?
Yes.
But when she goes for her purse, a Rape Hotel key card falls out, and Debbie demands to know how she got it. Abby runs away to the garage, pursued by a Debbie, and she explains that she stayed over one night, and she can't remember the specifics of it or when it was. Or
Like
what
an
it was for.
anniversary or something.
Debbie has no recollection of Abby ever staying at the Rape Hotel, so Carol steps in, says that Abby's explained herself, and blames all this on Debbie's dementia. Debbie shuffles away,
Class.
unhappy, while Abby is upset at Carol's ruthlessness. Abby's getting a fair amount of signs here as to who the real Carol is, and she keeps on choosing to ignore these quite obvious signs, doesn't she?
They're not just signs. They are big-ass red flags.
Mm-hmm. On an unrelated matter, Debbie learns from Ryan that a guest on the first floor has had something stolen from their room, and the CCTV cameras are out. Muses Debbie. So she heads back to the Rape Hotel, checks the CCTV, and who does she see arriving early in the morning but one Abby Webster? So Debbie storms the Carl's room, narrowly misses James slinking out, and accuses Carl yet again of having an affair with Abby and tampering with the CCTV. I wondered about the CCTV because the number of times that Abby's gone to that room.
Yeah. Seriously. But also James.
James wasn't happy about getting chucked out.
Yeah. Right. And the fact that she's probably been in other parts of the hotel to get up to that level. So she's probably on multiple CCTV cameras.
Who is?
Abby.
Why would she be on multiple levels?
Well, not multiple levels, but multiple cameras picking her up, like in the foyer,
Yeah,
or
not
in
just
the
one- yeah,
elevator,
not just
and
one in the hallway,
upstairs,
yeah.
and in the elevator. So you could probably trail her all the way up if you wanted to.
So to speak.
And
If room 101,
all the way
so
back.
it's, at least we know it's on the first floor.
Oh, that's right. That's even more suspicious, though, isn't it? Wouldn't it be easier if it was like on like the third floor, say? It'd be easier to sneak? Or would it be harder to sneak?
Bit harder to sneak, I think, because you're spending more time outside of a room.
Yeah. And I suppose you could just say, oh, I was just walking by that room because it's on the first floor. I was just walking to the other exit.
I was just walking.
Just taking a
as
stroll.
normal, just taking a little stroll
Yeah.
through the hotel.
Yeah.
As one does.
I got a little full for my lunch, so I decided to walk it off a little bit.
I had, unfortunately, some fried chicken for my Chinese dinner, and it's sitting a little heavily.
Yes.
I'm just trying to walk it off.
Yeah.
See, these excuses just write themselves, Ellen.
They do.
So, Carl attempts to protest his innocence, but there's a Johnny rapper on the floor. Uh-oh.
Oh, it's hilarious though.
Who's
because
this Johnny rapper? Shouts Debbie.
It's hilarious though because it's from James, not Abby.
Mm-hmm.
But Debbie doesn't know that.
Nice to know, though, that they're practicing safe sex.
Yes. Why he doesn't just say, "Look, I'm having sex with James. I'm bisexual. Get over it." He could easily have done that.
Why doesn't he say that?
I don't know why he doesn't say
Because
that.
it's no harm to James, because James is openly gay now.
Right.
So he would rather that Debbie thinks that...
He's screwing his brother's wife
Mm-hmm.
than to be bisexual.
Yeah, that's an interesting
Yeah.
thought.
That would have made things so much easier.
Pretty much nothing
would have
else that
taken-
happens in the
It would
storyline
have
for the rest of
taken
the week.
right, yes. It would have de-escalated things so quickly.
So now we know why he didn't say it then.
Right, yes.
Because if he did say it, then the rest of the week doesn't happen.
Right, yes. And also, Debbie finds out that he's two-timing her while also giving her a guilt trip for having sex with her own husband.
Abby says that.
Yes. If Abby found out about the whole James thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Which she will eventually, just not this week.
Oh, tune in to the Talk of the Street spoiler alert where we might have more information, that sounds like.
No, I'm just saying that eventually she's going to find out.
Let me plug our fucking spoiler alert show. To friends of the podcast, $2 a month. In fact, you can just pay $2 and then cancel it immediately. And quickly download the things that you want to listen to.
Right, but then you'll miss out on
All the future
all
stuff.
the future stuff.
So Carl has to admit to something, and he chooses to admit to boning Abby, saying that it's been going on since Kev lied about his cancer. When asked, Carl says that he thinks he might be in love with Abby, but insists that she's left Kev not because of him, but because of Kev. Debbie has heard enough, and she goes off to confront Abby, who finally admits it, but she says that she and Carl are most definitely in love.
Why Debbie doesn't twig this difference is beyond me.
Says Debbie again. Jack and Kev come in, wondering what all the shouting is about. Instead of grassing Abby up, Debbie makes a case for throwing her out, but Kev is trying to be a grown-up about this, and Abby's going nowhere. Later, Abby tells Carl that she wants to go public on the relationship, but Carl really disagrees with this, and then announces that Debbie wants to talk with him. So in the pub, Debbie tells Carl to call it off with Abby or she'll tell Kev. She wonders why he's so determined to ruin everybody's life, and Carl says it's because that's who he is, and if she wants him to leave, he will. But Debbie doesn't want that. She just wants Kev to be okay.
Doesn't he blame his mum as well?
He does. She asks him
I'm this way because of my mother.
She asks him to do it for her, and this gives him pause. Back home, Debbie is going through her photo albums, and she sees a photo of her, Kev, and Carl. The good times before it all goes wrong, she says. And is this the first glimpse we've got of inside Debbie and Ronnie's flat?
I believe so, because I feel like I would have remembered that fabulous portrait of Debbie with the bubblegum bubble in front of her face. I love that, and I want it, please. And thank you. I want that so much. It is so cool.
It's boldly decorated, I would say.
Which I feel is correct for Debbie and Ronnie.
It's more Debbie than Ronnie.
I feel like that's a little Ronnie too.
Well. On Wednesday, for a change, Abby isn't walking to the Rape Hotel. She's walking to the garage, but she quickly walks away when she sees Kev looking sad into a mug. In Dev's, Carl and James have a quiet word with each other. James's nose is put out a joint for getting thrown out of the room in a hurry. Carl invites him back for an uninterrupted session, but James is off to Canal Street in another storyline, so that's that idea fucked. Meanwhile, Debbie goes to see Abby and encourages her to move out of Kev's or she'll grass her and Carl up. It's not right that they're taking advantage like this, so Abby goes to leave, but Kev doesn't want Alfie getting all confused and worked up by moving into Roy's, and Kev would prefer that they did this to him gently. So Abby decides to stay where she is. And she tells Debbie her plan and asks her not to hurt the kids by dropping this bomb. Meanwhile, Carl has heard that James is still sharking in town and is super jelly. Debbie interrupts him and tells him to stay away from Abby. And that's as far as we get with that this week. So
That
this week,
kid does not give a fuck.
no, of course not. They're trying to insinuate all these activities that Kev and Alfie get up to get, like, Kev's the one who reads the bedtime story, for example.
He does not.
Kev, if anything, is reading an owner's manual to a 1982 Ford Fiesta. That poor child. But then, on the other hand, is it nice to see Kev have a more mature outlook on this rather than throwing Abby out? Because let's face it, he's
And
threatened
calling her
to
a
throw her
slag.
out for much, much less.
Yeah. It's weird.
Or
It's
just because
weird.
he wants her there.
Yeah. Because she wants to leave, he wants her there. This is still Kev we're talking about here,
Very much
who is
similar,
not a nice person.
very similar to Theo in that respect then.
Theo has better hair.
Does he?
He's got more of it.
He used to.
It gets poofier every week.
It's very volumized, that's for sure. And he's got this little quiffy, curly, bohemian, very Lord Byron little floof to it that just doesn't go away, and that annoys me every time I see it. I mistook it for a cut to his head in tonight's show. So yes, this is just Debbie running about from one place to another, trying to get people to break up with each other, because she tries Carol twice and she tries Abby once, and none of them are really going for it. She's just going to have to do what she keeps on threatening to do, which is fucking tell Kev.
Yeah. Just do it. Just rip the Band-Aid off. Just do it. I don't like the idea of Abby being hurt again. And I don't like the idea that the Abby and Kev breakup is Abby's fault. Because let's be honest, she should have never been with Kevin to begin with.
No.
He's a terrible, terrible partner.
Mm-hmm. I think Sally Carman said in an interview this week that Kev and Abby together kind of makes sense by its failure to make sense almost.
Which is an interesting point.
Mm-hmm. It's just a very codependent relationship.
Abby deserves better, though.
Yeah, she's going to end up with nobody, though.
Yeah.
Because
she deserves better than Carl, too, let's be honest.
The thing that's screaming in her face is that now every time she's talking about the future, Carl's quickly changing the subject and putting his trousers back on.
Yeah.
And she's choosing to ignore this, and she's choosing to accept the explanation that this is all because of his unbridled concern for Debbie now and how he can't leave her and stuff. And she's choosing to think that this man, who has shown he is
a terrible person,
morally ambiguous at best, has these wonderful morals when it comes to Debbie and her health.
Yeah.
So everything that's kind of happening is more or less screaming to Abby that he is making a fool of you now.
Yep.
And he will continue to do so. And she is just too invested in it to walk away from it, because then she really does go back to a dreadful life with Kev.
Yeah.
Well, that's cheery, I guess. Oh well.
Oh well.
Let's move on to our next storyline, which is the most racist careers fair in Manchester last week. On Monday, in Nina's Rolls, Asha explains to Nina about retracting her statement. If you remember, what was her name? Naomi?
Naomi, yes.
She was the racist woman who abused Asha verbally and physically and spat on her and threw a wine bottle at her when Asha was working her shift on the ambulances. And Asha called her out. Naomi threatened to sue, and then threatened to sue Bernie, who had hijacked a PowerPoint, which is the best way for revenge, apparently. And the whole thing was dropped because Asha agreed to drop her complaint. So Nina's disappointed for her, but offers her an ear if she wants to catch up. So they go for a meal at the bistro. Asha gets a text from Maddie, who is living it up in India, and she gets drunk and ends up telling Nina that she's stressed about a job that she doesn't even want. And then she drunkenly leaves to go into town with a concerned Nina following on. Back home, though, with some rehabilitating toast, Asha tells Nina that she's boring and suffocating, so Nina leaves.
Another great female character they just continue to ruin. And which one am I talking about?
I think you're talking about Nina.
But I could also be talking about Asha, and
Asha's
that's the
been great
problem.
recently.
This whole, I don't want to be a paramedic anymore. Yeah. I don't like it. And I can't live without my brother.
Well, she's never had to. So this is all very alien for her, I would imagine. And I can understand why she wouldn't want to be a paramedic anymore, when now what she associates with working is being spat on and being racially abused.
Yes, because she's never been racially abused before she was a paramedic. Or does she think that she won't be racially profiled after she's a paramedic?
That's right, Helen. So she should just stick at it then.
Yeah, she should.
Just accept it and just
because
stick at
she's
it.
really good at it. She is really good at it. She should stick with it.
Yeah, but I think she's allowed to have a crisis of confidence in it.
I suppose. But yes, I am mostly talking about Nina.
Poor Nina. When was the last time they gave her anything interesting to do? The last interesting thing that she did was the thing that got Asha into paramedicing in the first place
Right, yes, when she fell in that puddle
by running into a puddle,
and falling over.
bashing her wee head.
And I hate the de-gothification of Nina.
It's been slow.
It's been slow, but
Which I
it's
do
been,
appreciate that,
It's
'cause-
been steady.
Because we thought that they would de-goth her within months of her becoming a regular character.
Yeah.
And they didn't. They stuck
No.
with it.
And then very slowly,
She's still very black heavy, but not nearly as much as she was, I don't think.
yeah. And they've tempered down her makeup, and her hair is blonde now, like platinum blonde, like Madonna 1984 blonde.
Is it? God, it's been that colour for so long, I don't think I've noticed.
And well, that was kind of gradual too, because it was like her roots grew in platinum blonde, and she still had kind of black tips for a while, and then all of a sudden the black tips went away, and now it's just completely blonde.
Well done. Fair play on paying so much attention to Nina's hair. I think if asked to describe it, I would just say long-ish. But really, it has been such a long time since she's had anything more meaningful to do than say something slightly pithy in the cafe about tea.
Right, yeah.
Or the quality of the egg in the sandwich or whatever.
Right, yeah. It's sad. It's
There
like,
was, though, the acid,
Yes.
dropping the acid and not killing Gary. There was
Right.
that bit, I guess.
and thinking that she did kill Gary.
But she was never the main part of that story.
No. And then Summer got mad at her for telling the truth. Remember that? Summer's never going to get into another imaginary college in America again.
Not at this rate. Not with these referrals. So I guess Asha's right. Nina is boring,
Yeah, but it's not Nina's fault.
but not suffocating. Because the two of them barely talk.
She's not boring. She's just written that way. So, like, the antithesis of Jessica Rabbit.
On Wednesday, Asha gives the impression that she's heading off for work, but really she's just sitting on the bench while she's super sensitive to her own heart rate. Later, Sienna, that's Asha's boss. She's in Dev's and she spills the beans that Asha is still off, and this is obviously news to Dev. So when Asha comes in,
And we learned that Asha likes fig Newtons.
he asks her about her shift, and then reveals that he knows that she wasn't there at all, and Asha doesn't appreciate the ambush and throws a chocolate bar at his head and storms off. But she quickly comes back to apologise and tells him that she doesn't think she can be a paramedic anymore, and then explains why she dropped the complaint for Bernie so that the lawsuit would be dropped. Dev is stunned. On Friday, it's Bernie and Dev's proper wedding today at the registry office. But Dev is down in the dumps about Asha. He doesn't want to spoil Bernie's day, but tells her that she's the only reason why Asha dropped the case against the horrible racist. I didn't want to tell you that, not on your special day. But it's your fault that my
Yes.
daughter's unhappy.
Yeah.
That's twice in 2 episodes that Dev has said something as a trap or deliberately ambiguous to get someone to respond just so he could say what he really wanted to say.
Right.
It's not a
And
great look
both
for him.
times, it's the women that he claims to love more than anyone else in the world.
Yeah. Well, disappointing there, Devendra. Later, Dev sees Asha in the shop and he admits that he told Bernie, and Asha is frustrated and says that all this was her decision and she's going to go back to work after all. The universe hates a quitter. And she sends Dev off to get his arse into gear for this stupid wedding, which we see nothing of. Dev and Bernie are successfully hitched and celebrate in the Rovers while Chesney bores everyone with his happy place. It's a beach. Back at work,
With Gemma.
and beer, and a naked Gemma,
Yes.
and Gemma's got a new wig. Back at work,
Does she?
Asha pretends to Sienna that she's thrilled to be back at work, but really she's struggling to keep it together. And that's as far as we get with that.
Yeah, I still don't understand why she hasn't at least reported this at work. And why nobody has noticed there's a dent in the back of the ambulance and it smells of beer.
Those are the clues that something's happened.
Yes.
She didn't want to make this public. She didn't want to be the focus of this story. But she was convinced to tell the police, which she did, and it led to nothing, and that's unfortunate.
Well, it led to nothing because she withdrew the complaint. But in addition to going to the police, she should have reported it at work.
Yes.
Because then Sienna would understand why she's acting weird. It feels odd to report it to the police, but not to report it at work. Because it was a workplace violation. And also, the people at work need to know because they need to know why you're behaving the way that you're behaving.
And the people at work are on her side.
Right.
Like Sienna's very much on her side.
Right. And they're medical professionals. So would understand why you may be feeling the way that you're feeling.
And Sienna has probably seen a million Naomis in her time.
Oh, absolutely.
And can probably offer some advice and coping strategies for Asha if she was just to open up a little bit about it.
Absolutely.
It's still very sad, though.
It is. And I don't know if they're going to give this any resolution is the problem.
Well, resolution in these cases often equals comeuppance. And Naomi's chance for comeuppance seems to have passed.
Right. Yeah. I don't like that.
So unless there's a follow-up incident, yeah,
Right.
I don't see how this changes at all, or how it progresses without more of an incident or a different incident or a different incident with different people that she then handles better,
Yeah.
that then teaches her that she is capable of doing this job after all, and
Right. Which still doesn't punish.
compartmentalising all the negative parts about
Which
it.
still doesn't punish Naomi.
No, she gets
Yeah.
away with it.
Yeah. That feels icky.
And that doesn't feel like a great resolution at all.
That feels like
In fact, I'm going to say that's not a resolution.
no.
That's Racist Kelly's redemption arc.
All over again.
Yeah.
And also, the show spending 1 week to solve racism against the Baileys.
It does like to do that.
Yeah.
Doesn't it? Like to
And-
solve racism in a week.
And absolutely no resolution for Craig's racism and bent coppiness at all, ever. And now he's dead, so
Oh, well, that changes everything. You got to look at them now. Oh, no, let's not get
no,
down that.
we're not going to. No, what I mean by he's dead now, so he'll never get his comeuppance.
No comeuppance for Tinker.
No. About being a bent cop or about the racism.
Didn't he just decide that he was going to grass up his colleague after all? That was the redemption for Craig.
Right, yes. That doesn't give him very much time to think about his own internalized racism, which kept him from admitting that guy was an asshole to begin with. They never dealt with that at all.
No.
And
Anyway,
instead of dealing with the racism against Grace, they made Grace a psychopath.
let's not speak ill of the dead. And let's move on to another creep for Dee Dee. God, they front-loaded this week's episodes with really bad storylines, haven't they?
They have.
On Monday, in Nina's roles, Ronnie meets Dee Dee, who is worried that she messed up with Ollie after her behaviour at the bistro the other night. No,
It's not
Ollie
your
was an
behavior.
asshole.
That was bad.
Ollie was an asshole.
Why could Shanique possibly be leaving the show?
He suggests that she takes him out for an apology meal.
What the fuck, Ronnie? You're supposed to be my favorite Bailey. This is something Ed would say.
Oh, that's low.
It's true, though.
That's true. And she reckons James will take care of Layla for her. But James is busy getting his hole off a Carol in another storyline, so Dee Dee is stuck with her fucking bairn. Ollie pretends to be cool with this and suggests that Layla comes along to their meal. And he says lots of the right things at speed dial, and when James comes in to relieve Dee Dee of Layla, Ollie invites James to join them. Dee Dee's so excited she has to nip off for a shite, which allows James to warn Ollie that if she messes Dee Dee around, you'll fuck him up good.
Yes.
That's all that happened in that.
Yes.
So we're no further forward in discovering the connection between Ollie and Toya,
No.
although lots of people have
Speculated.
speculated this. I don't think anyone speculated it in the direction that I went, which was this is related to Eva cakes in some way.
Yeah.
That rather this is related to Rowan and the Institute type thing. I saw a lot of that.
Oh. See, I thought it was, at long last, she's actually going to pay for killing Imran.
Well, they have both been charged with dangerous driving. I don't know. I just think he's such a dreadful character.
It's like them trying to make Costello interesting.
Oh God. Because he speaks in riddles now.
Right,
Which
yes.
which is great. But anyway, we'll get to all that.
While
stuff.
we have Theo doing the Kubrick stare, we have Costello imitating Michael Myers, lurking in doorways silently.
What has made Dee Dee so desperate? She used to be such a great judge of character. And then Joel happened. But since Joel, is this guy? Really, this guy?
Remember when we were threatened with her and Daniel hooking up,
I
and we
remember
got
you asking me to remember this last week.
very upset about it? I would prefer Daniel over this guy.
Oh my God, so would I. That's a humbling realization to come to.
Yeah, because Dee Dee would actually make Daniel interesting, whereas this guy is just dragging her down some more.
He's just so obviously trying to say the right things to get into her pants. Or get whatever
Or
it is that
just
he's going to get from her.
ingratiate himself to her so he can continue to spy on Toya.
This
whole
part
thing.
of that is unnecessary if he wants to spy on Toya.
Right.
Just start hanging out at the bistro,
All the time.
which is what regulars do.
Right.
So become a regular at the bar at the bistro. Then you don't have to get to know anybody's child.
No.
Or play... God.
Patty
he
cake.
plays peekaboo with her.
Oh.
And Dee Dee's, oh, you're a natural. Yes, he's been taught the strange mystical powers of peekaboo.
Of peekaboo. With a baby who still doesn't understand mirrors yet. Who, when you cover your face in front of a baby, they literally think you're gone.
Babies are stupid. On that bombshell, let's move on to our next storyline. Theo No Sleeves. Okay, this is starting to get a little bit interesting, I guess.
Right, yes. But the interesting part of this story is not Theo.
Oh, good God, no. Theo wants to get stuck into decorating the bedroom, but Todd already has plans for the day, helping out at Billy's soup kitchen. Billy and his fucking soup kitchen.
Which is no longer on the street. It's now in the community center.
Yeah. Theo is predictably put out by this because he wanted to decorate together.
Right, yes. And also fuck the poor.
Not literally. Well, maybe a little bit of that. Todd was determined to give soup to needy people at the community centre. So later, Theo shows up on the pretense of helping out, but almost immediately has to take a call and rush away, leaving Mary bursting for a shite. Theo meets Danielle.
Literally.
Yeah.
She's like, I think she has to pee. She doesn't have to poop, but still.
You never know. Sometimes you go for a pee and it turns into a poop.
Well, not literally.
No.
But it was fun. It's like, Mary, the soup kitchen hasn't started yet. Go pee. You don't need to stand there before people show up. Mm-hmm. It's all right. Go pee and then come back.
And you know what? They're hungry. They'll wait.
Take your apron off, of course. You don't want to be wearing your apron in the bathroom.
No.
But
And wash your hands
yes.
thoroughly.
Yes. I don't think we have to tell Mary that.
Theo meets Danielle at the bistro to hear her woes, and this liaison is overseen by Billy, who comes in to get an order of spicy Thai cashews, which seems a bit tone deaf considering the whole soup kitchen thing. We're giving soup to the needy and poor and hungry here, but Todd wants to munch on some spicy Thai cashews from the bistro. They're his favourite. So we're coming, you guys have your soup, we're just going to be over here eating our spicy Thai cashews.
But it's good soup, though. It's that soup that I like. The kakaliki. I like the kakaliki. I like saying kakaliki. We get it in Indiana at Payne's. The kakaliki soup. That's the closest kakaliki soup to us is in Indiana, but it's fantastic.
They also have iron brew and sticky toffee pudding.
Yes.
Who'd have thought you'd find a really good British restaurant in something called Gas City, Indiana?
Right. The home of Garfield.
Back at the community centre, Theo hears Billy telling Todd about seeing him and Danielle, and he accuses Billy of being a pot stirrer before he injures his finger on something.
He
Pretends to.
No, his finger is bloody. He's trying to break down a table, but he does it by like smashing it on the floor, and it.
That's how you dismantle things, isn't it? By smashing them
on the floor.
Yeah.
And he's trying to get it to bend in, and in doing so, his finger gets caught in the bend.
Aye.
So he's trying to be helpful, but he's trying to be helpful by being stupid.
Mary helps him with his boo-boo before Theo storms off. Todd goes home where Theo calls Billy a manipulator and a gaslighter.
Oh, really?
Todd says Billy is the straightest up bloke that he's ever met, and it's his best friend.
When you don't have drugs on you.
And he's sick of this paranoia. This will be the thing that undermines the relationship, not Billy, he says, or the heroin. So Theo changes tact.
Or the falling off of cliffs.
Admits to being jealous and will try to be Billy's friend, and Todd is made up by this. Later, Billy comes round and he and Theo apologise to each other and they agree to bury the hatchet, not for the first time. Billy invites them to the Rovers as a thank you for the soup kitchen thing, but Theo insists that he and Todd have a quiet night in instead, and Todd feels compelled to agree. On Wednesday, walking down the street, Todd tries to hold Theo's hand, but he quickly recoils because this is the hand that got injured.
Right.
And he forces Todd to walk on the other side.
Where he might get hit by a car.
That's what I thought. In Nina's Rose, Sean is rustling up the gaze to go on a vodka promo night on Canal Street, and he needs some wingmen for a couple of guys that he's got lined up. The drag queen is Patio Doors, which is, I think, a better name than Kirsten Squat Thomas.
Yes. It's more punny. I like it when drag queens have punny names. Like my favorite drag queen is Hedda Lettuce, which is great. She's got green hair.
Oh.
She dresses in green, and she's fabulous, and I love her. Trying to think of other good. Then again, Bob the drag queen is great, and Bob the drag queen's name is Bob the drag queen.
Yeah, that's not very punny.
Yeah. So anyway, I just love drag queens, and I love when drag queens are on Coronation Street, which seems to happen more and more frequently, and long may it rain. And this drag queen knows Glenda, and Glenda knows the drag queen's mum as well, and it's fantastic. I love it so much. And I love that they're at a gay club in the middle of the day, and they're doing a vodka promotion in the middle of the day on the street.
On Canal Street?
Yeah. But it seems to it's the only thing open on Canal Street.
See, I thought it was, and
which is
we'll
hilarious.
cover this, I guess, but I thought it was remarkably busy of scantily clad people that are out at 1:30 on a Wednesday afternoon.
You haven't been to many pride parades, have you?
I haven't been to any pride parades. But I have been to pubs, though.
Yeah, but it's like just this square footage right in front of this pub that has lots of people scantily clad in front of the stage. And then on both sides, there's nobody. It's hilarious. But I'm just so glad this whole thing.
We're getting ahead of ourselves a little bit here.
Okay.
Todd is non-committal, but Theo thinks it sounds like a blast. Surprisingly. So they're in. Huzzah!
Yay!
Sean is debating which man to go after from his options, and Christina sticks her nose in and suggests that he puts it up to the vote of his pals, and she includes herself in on that.
Yes.
All through this, Theo is keeping a close eye on James for some reason.
Right.
On Canal Street, it's Sean, Mary, Glenda, Christina, Todd, Theo, and James, all looking for this Vody promotion that they can't find. There's an awful lot of scantily clad people for a Wednesday afternoon, but they head into a pub where Glenda runs into an old chum who ropes her into taking over for the AWOL Patio Doors on the promo booth. Patio Doors' dog has eaten a yo-yo.
Yes. Or something
Which
like that.
Sounds like something Kirk would say. When Patty finally shows up, I don't think she's as good as the last drag queen, Kirsten Scott Thomas.
Well, they're different kinds of drag
The
queens, aren't
makeup
they?
wasn't great.
One's a comedian and one's a singer.
Theo is still in a bit of a mood, and it gets worse when he sees a face that he recognises, and that face recognises him.
Yes.
Sean's decision, meanwhile, is complicated further because man A is called Bob, and man B is called Arthur.
Yes.
That's not what they're called, but those are the only names I could think of.
Right, yes, but A has a B name and B has an A name.
Yeah.
And the whole thing is he first had a date with A and then A canceled. So that's when he invited B. And then once they were on their way, that's when A said, oh, actually, I'm coming after all. And he's like, oh, no, what am I going to do with 2 dates?
Mm-hmm. Tell the truth.
I don't know, Sean. What are you going to do with 2 dates? Have a little imagination.
He has no idea what to do with one date. It's been that long.
Yes, and then all of a sudden there's an option C as well at some point. Who knows?
Theo encourages Todd to go dance with the others and then sets about tracking down that face from the past, and he warns him off. This is Owen, and it's not clear who has something on whom, initially at least. Outside though, it becomes clear that Owen is Theo's ex, and he accuses Theo of gaslighting him and abusing him and had him running out of a flat in his bare feet. And he says that a nurse found him and the nurse recognised the pattern and helped him get help and understand what Theo had done to him. He was very quick to call Owen an alky, much like he accuses Todd of being a porker. Owen says the church didn't make Theo the way he is. That was all down to Theo. Then Owen's new fella comes along and he escorts Owen away, saying that he's not worth it. And this
And he's the nurse.
infuriates.
And he's the nurse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's actually kind of romantic, isn't it?
Yeah, it was a nice...
Yeah.
Well, it's a terrible way to meet.
Right, yes.
It's a little bit of a rescue story. But
still,
yeah.
It's a little romantic. You've made it so much less romantic.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's a knack.
It's okay.
So Todd arrives and Theo is now in a super foul mood and blames all of this on Todd for dancing provocatively with James. So
What?
Todd reluctantly goes to tell everyone they're leaving while Theo abandons him and refuses to answer his phone. It's the speed at which Todd is seemingly accepting of stopping doing the thing that they were enjoying doing, the thing
Right.
that he was encouraged to do.
Right,
Because Theo's in a bad mood for no reason now.
right.
And now they have to go home.
Yeah,
And then worse than that, Theo buggers off,
right.
abandoning Todd, which is such a horrid passive-aggressive thing to do.
Absolutely.
And I get there are undoubtedly people like this in the world. But it's
Yes, there
very,
are.
very, very frustrating that Todd is not...
Pushing back.
Yeah, and seeing what an awful situation this is in
Yeah,
when he has an escape route.
yeah.
And lots of the people who find themselves in this situation don't have that.
Right.
But there's nothing to stop Todd going back to his mum's house.
No. Exactly.
And at some point, that's got to be the preferred option. Because this whole roller coaster of up and down and having to walk on eggshells round about someone else's, unprovoked as far as you're concerned, dreadful and potentially violent moods, is
And Todd
it's just not something that Todd would tolerate.
I can see how because of the slow progression of this,
See, I don't feel it's been slow enough.
where initially Todd was the white knight saving Theo from homophobia and not understanding that he's gay, sort of stuff, which now kind of feels like this fakey thing that Theo does to lure men in, you know, because it feels like Owen had the same exact experience with Theo where, you know, they moved in together and Danielle was very mad and stuff. But it doesn't make it. There's parts of that really doesn't make sense because of the fact that Danielle seemed genuinely shocked that Theo wasn't having sex with Sarah.
Yeah, I don't think Danielle knew about this.
Yeah, which
Or knew about what the relationship was.
Yeah. Yeah, because it kind of sounded like Owen was also part of the conversion therapy thing.
Or was involved in the church in some way, or knew
Right.
him through the church, or something about the church. Yeah, there's...
I do like what Owen said, though, about how this isn't the church, this is you.
Yeah.
Because lots of us went through this, and we're not like you.
Yeah, because Theo was very, what, I didn't have conversion therapy then? As if this is
Yeah,
his permanent cross to bear,
right. Like you weren't the only one.
and nobody else turned out this way.
Right. I mean, I'm sure there are other people who've turned out this way, but, you know. But the way that it went from, oh, Todd is the one saving Theo, to now Theo is dominating Todd, sort of thing, feels more intentional now than it did initially. And I don't know. If Theo had started like this, I don't think Todd would have stuck around for very long.
No, you'd hope not.
But the way that he's kind of been pulled in kind of subtly, I agree that it has moved a little fast, but I also feel like it hasn't been overnight either. But yeah, Todd deserves better, and it's not like he can't get better. Because remember that cool guy that he was hanging out with at the Rape Hotel?
I do remember
thing?
that guy. It's been a while since we've spoken
I
about him.
really loved that guy. That guy was great.
He was potentially Welsh.
Yes. And also had a good sense of humor about George and Eileen shagging in the cab office.
So the gang all head back to the Rovers, where Theo is already there and pretty drunk. Todd goes to speak to him and tells him that he's got a takeaway waiting at home. Why he keeps on mentioning takeaways when he knows that Theo's going to cast that up. Theo is quietly furious and leaves without saying a word. Back at the flat, Todd sees a photo on Theo's phone of the bloke from the pub. And Theo, after getting angry that Todd's apparently snooping on his phone, says that it's his ex, which surprises Todd. It was just someone that he used to know before he got all evil like Todd has, what with the flirting and everything. And Todd explains it was a club. You have to shout in people's ears, and you'd know this if you went to clubs. Fuck you then, says Theo, and he heads off back into town. Don't wait up, he says.
Yeah.
So on Friday, Todd is having...
This is when you change the locks, Todd.
Yeah, seriously. Todd is having a horrendous morning because Theo never came home. He asks Gary if he's heard anything and explains the situation. Gary offers to call Theo, but Todd doesn't like the optics of that, looking like he's spying on Theo through somebody else, so just lets it slide. He lets it affect his work by making frankly unbelievable mistakes in somebody's obituary. Rather than saying they were 35, he says they were 85.
Right, and instead of saying black hair, he says bald.
George thinks he's catastrophizing. This doesn't stop Todd compulsively checking his phone.
As what the kids say.
Yeah, leaving
says
messages.
George.
Meanwhile, Jake goes into the cabin and hands in a phone that some guy found and handed to him to hand in, which feels like there was
feels weird.
one person too many in that story.
Yes. I wonder why.
Brian endeavours to find out whose it is, and from the lock screen it's clearly Todd or Theo's, because the photo on the lock screen is of both of them. And again, I'm left to wonder why Jake didn't spot that.
Yeah.
Brian takes the phone round to the Undertaker's and hands it over.
And there's also this very interesting conversation, which we don't think is an interesting conversation, but we'll later find out that it's an interesting conversation, where Brian offers Jake a job, and Jake says, I already have a job. I already have ways to make money.
Side hustles.
Side
He's got
hustles.
side hustles.
Side hustles.
Brian takes the phone round to the Undertaker's and hands it over to Todd. If anything, this makes Todd more frantic, and he goes to report it to the police, but as he's explaining what happened about being in the nightclub and having an argument, he realises how crappy it sounds, and he leaves without making a statement, and instead speaks to George, who is now worried about the state that Todd's in, and says that maybe Theo not coming back isn't exactly the end of the world. Todd insists that Theo is the best thing that ever happened to him. And in the distance, Billy looks up like a deer with the nose in the wind. best thing that ever happened to me. By what measure?
Yikes.
Later, Todd is in the shower when Theo sneaks home, grabs a beer, sees his phone on the table, listens to the messages of Todd pledging his love, and then promptly leaves. He runs into Jake and pays him off for handing in the phone, pretending that this was just a practical joke for his boyfriend. And that's as far as we get with that.
Yeah. It's weird. Isn't it? It's weird. It's weird.
Yeah.
Oh.
I feel done with this
Yeah.
already. And I feel
Yeah.
like I've been done with this for a while, actually.
Yeah.
It's not really going anywhere that I care to follow it.
No. No. And also, the whole coercive control thing has been done
Fairly recently.
on this show.
Fairly recently and fairly well, I would say. But again, when you were in the middle of that with Tim's dad and
Oh, yeah.
and
We
Yasmin,
hated it. We hated it.
We
We're
hated
like,
it like
please,
we hate this.
Please end this now. But I don't see Theo falling off a roof.
Onto some chickens, no.
And also, he's not. And also, Todd doesn't have any chickens that Theo can force him to eat.
There is a cock joke in here, but we'll ignore it. The moment.
Well, we won't now. You've already brought it into the room.
That's what she said. What? No, you're right. We hated that in the middle of it. Like we hate this in the middle of this. I don't see there being a satisfying ending.
No.
Like that was a satisfying
And
ending.
I mean, I do understand the thinking that this is an interesting story because it's two men.
Right.
I get that. I do. But it doesn't feel different enough. Does it? Like, it feels like all of the things that Theo is saying to Todd, essentially, are things that he could say to Todd if Todd was Danielle and it wouldn't sound weird. So it's not really doing anything different from the Yasmin and Tim's dad story.
It does make me wonder if he treated Danielle like this.
Right. Yes. Which I think we've talked about before.
I think we touched on it, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think we suggest that no way. Because Danielle wouldn't.
No.
I think.
No, I think Danielle would take it because let's not forget that she's kind of a trad wife, sort of good girl Christian who would be accepting of an abusive husband, but not an abusive gay husband.
Ugh, there's an awful lot there to unpack, isn't there?
Submit to your husband.
See, it feels like I could imagine her being equally violent. Maybe not equally violent, but violent.
I feel like she would be more emotionally abusive. Because she's emotionally abusive now.
She is. She very much is. That the kids haven't noticed any of this.
Right.
Well, you know.
Yeah.
It's a shame because Theo was a character at the start that I was quite taken by. I liked that he seemed to be on the right side of things, which was unusual for a new character.
And
Standing
it
up
seemed
to
like
Mick.
it seemed like it was taking an interesting path with this whole conversion therapy. It was like, oh, this is something new that the show hasn't talked about before.
And that felt like enough.
Yeah, and then
It's these extras that they insist on throwing onto drama to make it
right.
more.
And then it felt like it no longer became about the conversion therapy. It came about coercive control and abuse. And it felt a little icky that maybe they were blaming the conversion therapy for
Yeah, which is why
The
that
abuse.
was so interesting this week
right. Yes.
when Owen flat out denied that. Okay, let's move on to courting the Undertaker then. On Monday at the cabin, Glenda reveals her plans to fix the speed dating night thanks to a warm pair of balls. Jenny and George will get the first bite at each other, she says. And Glenda is just... There was something about Glenda in the cabin that was just fabulous this week, and just made you realise how fabulous Glenda is.
Look, Glenda is fabulous when she's in the Rovers, when she's on stage in a cowboy hat taking over for a drag queen with a sick dog, and when she's in the cabin. Glenda is fabulous everywhere.
George, though, is doing what passes for flirting at the Undertaker's with Christina. As they chat, it seems that the two of them have a mutual friend, and back in the long ago, George stood Christina up at Villa Carno. George wonders what might have happened if Mick McManus hadn't been wrestling at Weatherfield Baths. That means that George could have been Daisy's dad.
Let's all think about that for a moment.
I'm wondering if Daisy would have been an influencer. Probably not.
Probably not. And also, Jenny and Christina wouldn't hate one another.
The speed dating seems to be Christina, Jenny, George, Brian, Kirk in his enormous paisley shirt, Tracy in her fucking winter coat. And Glenda draws George and Jenny together. And, you know,
And some extras who say nothing.
Kirk gives a little commentary to the speed dating draw, which made it sound like the draw for the third round of the FA Cup, and that was hilarious. Potential giant killing. Home at home. That was maybe the funniest that Kirk's been this year. Glenda draws George and Jenny together, but before the speed date starts, Jenny gets a call from Rita, who has suffered from a non-Christmas tree related fall. She has to leave, Jenny that is, and Christina offers to take her place with George. Back at the cabin, there's fuck all wrong with Rita, but Jenny doesn't mind having to leave the speed dating night and laments that her life is a mess. So she and Rita have a cuppa. At the speed date, Tracy reckons that she's a 10 and Brian is maybe a 3.
And Brian says, "In what world are you living in, madam?"
And also Brian says that he isn't ready for a relationship.
Right, yes, because his last relationship died of cancer.
And Kirk is busy telling women that they look rubbish. George finally gets some time with Christina, but then his conscience gets in the way and they go off to check on Rita. Instead, though, he finds Jenny crying as she sweeps the floor outside the cabin, and she explains that they've been to hospital and Rita's had some news. George assumes it is something awful, and Jenny doesn't disabuse him of that, and then he gives Jenny a consoling hug that's seen by Christina. On Wednesday, Mary's in the cabin reporting to Jenny that Rita is insisting on coming downstairs to bag some quarters. Jenny quickly shushes her when George comes in with some pity soup for Rita, mulligatawny.
Mulligatawny.
Mary likes a multi-syllabled soup.
Yes, and as do I.
Jenny quickly ushers George out and tells him that they need to play this candidly. And it looks like she's about to confess when she sees Christina coming, and then she insists that Rita isn't talking about this. And George gives her a hug, which Christina sees again. And in the rolls later, George speaks to Brian about Rita, and Brian has the tea on that situation and tells George that there's fuck all wrong with Rita apart from a sprained ankle. Back in the cabin, George comes in, sees Rita behind the counter and finds her very much not terminally ill, and Jenny's heart sinks. George leaves, sad that Rita isn't going to die.
Like, damn it, I need the business.
Rita isn't happy when Jenny explains what's been going on here. She explains how she's lonely and how important the Rovers was to her, but she's lost that. But Rita doesn't really care and says life's too short to lie to good people, saying that Jenny owes the both of them an apology. Jenny isn't even sure that she wants George. That's the thing. I thought that was a telling revelation there.
Yeah.
That she just wanted something. And she said that she'd be disappointed with George and she'd try and change him and it would never work out. So she goes to apologise to him for the position that she put him in. This was pretty low, says George. Maybe it's being in the Undertaker's, but Jenny has taken stock of her life and has recognised how unhappy she is. If she only had a year left, what would she do? She'd hope that she'd stop doing stupid things and hurting people.
Well, George is preparing for a funeral of a woman only a year older than Jenny.
Yes.
And this is what gives her pause.
She used to fit in around here in the Rovers. She still has a licence from above the door when it had her name on it. How sad. She wonders about going to see her pal in the Canaries that she's never mentioned before, who insists that she'd run any bar much better, but she can't leave Rita.
Is that where Tenerife is in the Canary Islands?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Now you do.
I wasn't really all that curious, but I assumed it was some sort of islandy thing.
Tenerife.
Have you been to Tenerife?
I have. I've been to Tenerife.
I have not, obviously, because I don't know where it is.
I have been to 3 of the Canary Islands
Where are the Canary Islands?
off the coast of Africa.
A lot of stuff off the coast of Africa. Which part of Africa?
Northwest Africa.
Okay, that makes sense.
Been to Tenerife, been to Gran Canaria, and La Gomera. On La Gomera, people talk to each other in whistles.
You're not going to say something to me in a whistle?
That's Spanish for no. I can't really whistle very well.
You can't. Which is a shame.
Why?
Because you can't wolf whistle at me.
Oh, no. I don't know what you're supposed to... What is that with the fingers in the mouth thing? What's that supposed to do?
I don't know.
What you
I've never used my fingers to whistle. You
Oh.
just put your lips together and blow.
No, you see farmers whistling at their sheepdogs with their... Like that. You know. Or the,
So fascinating watching you put your fingers in your mouth.
where have these been? I suspect I haven't washed my hands.
Oh, no.
Anyway. Yeah, Canaries is year-round warm. Nice, but
Right, yeah, because it's
cockroaches.
near the equator, yes? Fairly near.
Nearish.
Yeah. Yeah, the warmer it is, the bigger the bugs. That's why we live in a place where the air hurts our face.
So, George goes to tell Rita all this, and by the time Jenny then goes to see Rita, a plan is in action. Rita gives Jenny a wad of cash and tells her to get a one-way ticket the fuck out of here. She promises she'll be fine with her friends, like Brian. If you don't grab life by the balls, it'll kick you in yours. Now let's raise a glass in the Rovers. Then Brian, Rita's friend, pops in and invites himself along. So Jenny's got the nameplate that used to be above the Rovers' door. Rita thinks that she'll find another door for it, but Jenny's sure that this one is Jenny Connor, so the next one will be Jenny Bradley. She thanks Rita for everything, and Rita gives her a quarter of bonbons for the flight, and then goes into the pub for a drink with Brian. I'm not too sure what happens in between times, but a little later, Jenny sticks her head in the door and sees Rita sadly sitting with Brian
Oh, Rita looks
while Total Eclipse of the Heart plays.
so sad.
This is Jenny's song.
Rita looks...
Rita has the same look in her eye as my wee mum did at Edinburgh Airport as she watched me get on my one-way ticket to here. She tearfully raises a glass to Jenny as she leaves, and Jenny throws the plate in the garbage as she and her luggage walk off Coronation Street.
Yeah, not even a cab. Nobody to wave her off. Not even a goodbye to Carla. Just, there goes Jenny, walking off the street
Smiling.
to go to Tenerife and tend a bar in Tenerife.
Mm-hmm.
Why? It's like, oh, she's going to get this really exciting storyline where she's like in a love triangle with Christina and George. And that was a damp squib, wasn't it?
Well, let's compare it to how quickly can we get this character off the show. I don't think it quite makes the Yasmin benchmark of an episode and a half where Yasmin announced that she wanted to go work for a charity in London.
Right,
and
London.
And later on in the next episode, she did that.
Right.
And that was her gone.
Or...
But this has been very, very quick.
Yeah.
She's been out of the show for a while. She comes back in the cabin, which was great. We got to see the cabin.
Right, yes, and great watching her eat candy all
and
day.
she had some good moments in there as well.
Yeah.
But then she had this little idea of a fling with George.
Right.
It didn't amount to anything. In the episode in which she left, she mentions the Canaries for the first time
Right.
And this friend in the Canaries for the first time.
Right.
And later that same episode,
Leaves
she's
for
off
the
to the
Canaries. Yes. She's been able to get a ticket already. That's also leaving today. She's got all her paperwork in order.
She's packed. She's going to Spain. Because that's who owns the Canaries.
Right, yes. Even and they're acting like Brexit never happened. It's
Right,
just
you can
very
just- you
easy
can
to
just-
go to Spain.
You can just go
Just go to
live in the
Spain.
Canaries.
Yeah.
That's what everyone's doing.
Yes. Brexit never happened on Coronation Street. Right enough, I don't think any of the characters talked about Brexit while Brexit was happening.
Oh, no, you can't talk about Brexit. Can't talk about Brexit.
It's like how they barely talked about COVID while they were all like 6 feet apart from one another. And nobody on the
Wearing
show got
masks.
COVID. And Sally walked around with her marigolds on all the time.
I don't know. It feels like a very...
It feels like a don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out sort of thing.
Which is a shame.
Yes. Sally Ann Matthews deserves more and better.
Just very rushed.
Yeah.
Very quick.
Yeah.
And the total eclipse of the heart, again, was something that was mentioned at the start of the episode, how Jenny knows that number in the jukebox, and so therefore that comes back to have a part to play in her exit. So they did something to make it kind of narratively pleasing, I think, within the 44 minutes of the episode.
Well, they tried.
But you've got to wonder, that smile that Jenny / Sally Ann Matthews had at the end there, how much of that smile was genuine. Like, thank fuck.
I did not like that look on poor Rita's face.
Oh my God, that broke me.
Ugh. She keeps losing her daughters.
Yeah.
All she's got left is Gemma.
Jenny's got to be thinking, this might be the last time I see you.
Alive, yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And
Rita's got to be thinking
the
that as
same
well,
thing.
yes.
Heavy shit.
Oh,
I'm glad that they gave it the end of the episode, that they gave it going into the credits,
yes.
because there's been a few dodgy exits recently where it's been in the middle of a Monday. Somebody just leaves.
Right.
It's not even going into a commercial break. They're just gone. So this was given at least some prominence in the episode. You'd maybe expect it to be a Friday, and you'd maybe expect a black cab, and
Right.
you'd maybe expect people on the street to say cheerio to
Goodbye.
her, because
Yes.
everybody knows her.
Right, yes. She's the landlady. You would think that other people would want to say goodbye. It makes you think that people like the next day are going to be like,
The fuck did
where
Jenny
the
go?
fuck did Jenny go? Which is exactly what happens in the next episode when Brian's like, she just fucked off and left me.
On Friday, Brian tells Christina that Jenny just fucked off and left him. Meanwhile, in the pub, George is angry at Glenda and Gemma's new wig about how approving of Christina they are, or how non-approving of Christina they are. Glenda has a list of pros and
For
cons.
reasons.
Glenda has a list of pros and cons that she's written out, and she's going to go through them with George, but Christina appears behind her and nabs the list. Is there ever a pros and cons list that doesn't get accidentally shared? Most of it's fair comment, though. Could
Yeah.
start an argument in an empty room, etc.
Right, yes. And Christina very graciously said, well, yes, that's true.
But George puts an end to it and sends them on their way. Later, he's having dinner with Christina at the bistro and admits to his feelings for her and says that he is ready to love again. That's essentially as far as we get with that.
Yes. And Christina is hard to read.
She is. She's an enigma, isn't she?
Yes. She's a question wrapped up in an enigma.
Because she says to him that yesterday you were saying all this to Jenny. And
like,
he's like,
"Actually, I
oh, well, that was a
wasn't."
mistake. And yeah, he wasn't. But,
Yeah.
and the hugs were more
For
initiated
Rita, yeah.
by her or her lie.
Right.
God, that's just a dreadful way to go out as well, lying about Rita's health.
Right. It's kind of like the kind of nasty way that Daisy went out, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Daisy didn't get any sort of redemption. She just got booted out.
No, she went out riding the surf off a bit of nastiness, really, didn't she?
Yes, absolutely. Where is Where's Lauren been? We haven't seen Lauren in ages.
Do you know, I had to think for a moment who you were talking about.
Yeah. That just shows you how long it's been.
It's been a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Because she works in the Rovers.
Yeah. She pulls pints now and makes pithy remarks. And she's good at it.
Are you suggesting that she's a new Jenny?
No, Glenda is the new Jenny. As she should be.
Yeah.
And we're getting Eva back, let's not forget.
Eva Cakes. Yep.
I will never call her Eva Cakes.
I'm going to continue to call her that for a while. It amuses me.
It's just like, people who call Sarah Lou. I can never do that.
Well, I'm calling her Eva Cakes because of the cakes thing.
I know.
Okay.
I know exactly why you're calling her Eva Cakes. We still follow that bakery on Facebook.
I was chatting to them about something.
Yeah, I know.
I was like, I don't quite remember why I follow you. And now I do.
Yes.
Because it's been like a couple of years since the Eva Cakes thing happened.
Yes.
That was funny. All right, we'll move on. Our next story is Bethany's back. On Friday, Kit is in a cheery mood after getting his hole with Sarah until he's called into an interview room to speak to one Bethany Platt, arrested for car theft. Huzzah! Bethany's back.
Yay.
She says she didn't steal the car. She even
just borrowed it.
She even has insurance for it, but she didn't have permission, but had arranged for a former colleague to take it back. Oh, former? She admits that she quit her job, but refuses to explain why. And Kit pushes her, so Bethany admits that it was either that or get fired for outing a source. Kit goes off to smooth things over with her boss, and off-screen is successful in doing so. He takes her back to the street where she is immediately spotted by Sarah. Sarah and Bethany go off to catch up while Kit looks shifty. In the pub, Bethany can't get over Shona being preggers. She actually says preggers.
Which is gross.
Ugh. Sarah wants to talk about the hotshot journal, so Bethany admits that she's now unemployed and she's here for the long haul and is expecting to live at Sarah's.
Isn't this exactly how she came back the last time? Where she had some ritzy journalist job and then she just decided she didn't want it anymore, or something bad was going to happen, so she left before something bad could happen, and she came back and sponged off her mum for a while and then moved in with Daniel for a while.
It's like even characters in a fictional universe don't believe that Bethany could be a journalist.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, make her a long-distance lorry driver.
Right.
It's like, I wouldn't believe that either.
It would be more believable.
But certainly the chunky jewellery would come in handy. So, she's expected to live at Sarah's, and Sarah hopes that it'll be temporary. Bethany looks shifty. There's that Bethany shifty look. In Nina's roles, Bethany is covering for a vomiting Shona when Daniel comes in, surprised to see her and trying to play it cool while Bethany makes it clear that she hates his guts. Ignoring this, he asks for a proper catch-up and she eventually agrees to meet him in the bistro. So at the bistro, Bethany makes it clear again that she'd rather be a nun in Mongolia before she fucks Daniel again. Daniel makes it clear that he doesn't want that either and reckons that the two of them were toxic together.
He's like, I would rather you be a nun in Mongolia as well.
He reckons that the two of them were toxic together. He doesn't want anything from her. He only has one thing that he wants to say to Bethany. Marry me. No, he doesn't. He says, I'm
thank
sorry.
God.
And Bethany is humbled.
As she should be.
And that's pretty much
But,
as far as we get with that.
Assuming that...
It was a fair assumption.
It wasn't
It's
really.
Daniel.
It wasn't really. To just assume. Well, I don't want to fuck you anymore, so don't even try. Sure. Cool.
As soon as he walked into that cafe, he's imagining her in a cardigan. 100%.
It's because she's already in a sweater. She's in her Freddy Krueger sweater.
It's not quite the red and black.
It's not red and
one.
black, it's gray and black, but still. It's the Bethany version. It's the millennial version of a Freddy Krueger
I'm just
sweater.
waiting for that red and black one to get a reprise. It's definitely going to happen. But she's got secrets, hasn't she?
Of course she
Bethany's
does.
back, she's got secrets.
And also, how entitled is she? I didn't steal it. I just borrowed it after I quit before they could fire me. I was going to give it back. My friend was going to drive it back.
Yeah, my friend who definitely doesn't have permission to drive this car was going to drive it back
yes.
and get arrested probably.
It's ridiculous. And they let her off. Even though it was her boss who reported the car stolen. Mm-hmm. So it feels like the boss is not wanting to let her off.
Well, it's insinuated that Kit leaned on them a bit somehow.
Which is terrible.
How some boss woman in London was threatened by a Manchester DC.
A giant Manchester PC. Let's not forget. Oh my God, when Kit had to bend down to kiss Sarah in this episode. Hilarious.
He had to bend down and crouch from his knees, I think.
Yes.
He went down in installments. I don't care for Bethany.
No.
I still don't care for Bethany.
No.
We'll see whatever secrets that she has that are going to attempt to entice us into this character's return, but it's going to be a hard battle, I think.
Nothing has worked so far.
No. All right, our final storyline tonight is the lonely grave of Tia Wardley. Just a few scenes on Friday for this, actually. Kit and Sarah are still alive. He's off desk duty and very excited about that. So excited that he has to have sex with Sarah right now, so she takes the morning off for a bit. How's your father? And she texts Carla to let her know. Carla isn't fooled for a minute, but she's got her own troubles because Betsy has invited Becky around for lunch. Carla pretends that she's fine about this, but admits that she's struggling to get her head round it. Swain promises that they'll get through this together. So later, Swain, Becky and Betsy are walking to the bistro when they bump into Kit, who plays along with the Lisa's sister story, but advises them to come up with something better.
Yeah.
Carla joins them at the bistro, but Carla cannot be fucking bothered with this for 1 minute.
Nope.
Can't be bothered with playing Happy Families, can't be bothered with Becky's bullshit, and can't be bothered with this supposed normality.
Right.
And she leaves them to it.
And can't be bothered with Toya.
That's a shame. Toya comes over and says, is everything all right here?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, Toya, this is none of your business.
No, she means the food.
No, she overheard them arguing with each other and came over and said, is everything all right here?
Yeah, well, they don't want people shouting at one another inside the bistro. It's a classy joint.
Right. Carla goes to speak to Kit.
Unless it's family.
And lets them know that Becky is already trying to worm her way into replacing her. And she doesn't understand how she could come back if the gang was still after her, which is a great point. Mm-hmm. And they've only got her and Costello's word that any of this is true. Kit agrees and suggests that they reach out to a D.I. Crawley who we've never heard of before. Apparently he worked the case with Becky and Costello in the past. But sadly, this is seen by Michael Myers, played by D.I. Costello.
It's not do 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 do. What is it? The
Ding 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 ding.
ding. Yeah. What is do 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 do? Is that Poltergeist?
No, it's the Twilight Zone, I think.
Do 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 do. Yes, that is the Twilight Zone. Yes. I'm glad we cleared that up.
Yep. We can stop the podcast now.
Yep. We're done.
So later, Costello has a word with Kit, who has already heard that Kit's been in touch with Crawley and saw Carla in earlier, and Costello's obviously been putting two and two together. And apparently Crawley was straight on the phone to Costello to grass him up. Kit, that is. So Kit has to tell Costello about Becky coming back from the dead, which is a bit of a turn-up. And he wanted to verify this story without getting Swain into trouble with Costello. Seemingly satisfied with this, Costello now thinks that Kit is DS material. Carla gets home.
He's bribing him. That's what's happening.
Yeah, and apologises for some reason to Swain and Betsy. And Betsy looks like she's going to hug Carla, but then fucks up the stairs of discovery instead. So privately, Carla and Swain agree that Becky is at it, and Carla is alienating Roy to keep Becky's secret, which she feels terrible about. Swain appreciates Carla's restraint, and Carla refuses to let anyone come between them, but insists that they need a better plan. And Swain promises to come up with one. Later, Costello sees Kit, and Kit admits to coveting the position of Detective Sergeant and everything that entails. Costello promises.
What does that mean?
Costello promises to help him realise that ambition and is glad that they have an understanding. Kit,
What does that mean?
Kit appears to munch on a delicious shit sandwich, judging by that grin. And that is how we end this week's episode.
He loves the taste of Costello's boots.
Now, do you think that Kit is just acting here?
I don't know, because we do know that he's always been after Lisa's job.
He really has. And he's all about progression. I think most people in the police are very keen to be promoted through the ranks and all that sort of stuff.
I think some like to just, walk the streets and be a local copper and not put their lives in more danger.
I go, evening, oh.
Hello. What's all this?
But Kit definitely isn't one of them.
No, yes.
So this is something that would definitely appeal to Kit, and I think would be definitely something that would force Kit to keep his mouth shut.
But he
he's been
also
getting
loves
on
a good
better.
mystery. He also loves a good mystery.
He does.
He does like to solve things.
And upsetting the apple cart a little bit.
Yeah.
So I don't know how to take this.
He's also a dirty cop, which we keep forgetting. Does he still have that deal with the T-shirt guy?
Probably. So what does Kit want most? Does he want to be promoted, or does he want to bring Costello down?
Right, because that would also equal a promotion.
One would think.
Yes.
Well, here's the thing. He's been investigating this quietly, presumably for all this time, or for a lot longer than we've known. He's been sticking his nose where it hasn't been wanted or needed. So this is something that he has quite a bit of investment in, to just suddenly decide, nah, I'm going to take the moral low ground here.
Right.
And play along with this guy who I now know is a crook. Because that's what he's coming away from this with, right? That Costello is definitely hiding something, and what's he going to be hiding is probably something that's nefarious of some nature.
Yes.
So what about our Becky then?
I don't fucking care. It feels what I think is that Becky and Costello are part of this gang.
Oh, they're definitely in cahoots.
Yeah.
I think that's for sure.
Yeah. So
we had the thought, was it when Becky came back the first time, that the more plausible explanation for all this was that Becky was either part of the gang or had stolen from the gang,
or both,
and wasn't so much hiding for her own life and for the lives of her family, but rather was living up on the Costa del crime. And I still think that's a pretty decent position to take.
I feel this is very much a Departed storyline where there are dirty cops who are in cahoots and in the payroll of some shady Jack Nicholson character who is importing microchips that nobody knows what they do.
See, I think though that comparison with The Departed, which I don't disagree with, just makes us feel even less part of Coronation Street.
Right.
All this intrigue, and you need to be paying attention to all the strands of this this complicated story that
I just don't fucking care about.
Just don't care enough about it.
It just makes me happy because I like to say The Departed.
And I quite like seeing Carla.
I love Boston.
I loved seeing Carla being a snooty cow to Becky.
Well, yes.
That was fun.
Yeah.
And also
it's a long time coming, though.
And also to Betsy. Because Betsy says, she only wants a bit of normality. And Carl's like, none of this is normal.
Right. Yeah.
That was pretty great.
Yeah. And it's weird the way Betsy goes back and forth. Because let's not forget, the end of last week, Betsy's like, I don't think I want anything to do with this woman who thinks that she can discipline me for my life that she's missed.
Oh, but then they made up very quickly. And then all of a sudden she's wanting to call her mum. Which I guess is fine, but it just sounds weird.
But just the way that Betsy is constantly having mood swings with Lisa, you would think that she would be just as much, if not more so, apt to do that sort of thing with Becky now.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Oh, well.
Oh, well.
That was the week that was Coronation Street. Helen, tell me, what was your moment of the week?
Canal Street.
Just Canal Street in general?
Yeah. Glenda putting on a show with her cowboy hat.
I'd
and
love to give
passing
it.
out the vodka.
I'd love to give it to Jenny's departure, but
No.
to give it to Rita's wee face is just far too sad.
No.
Okay,
It's Glenda. It's always Glenda.
so
Moment of the week.
I think we said if you have an episode where Glenda's singing in it, it's probably going to be our moment of the week.
Right, yes.
What about your boring moment of the week? Chesney, Daniel,
Chesney picking out a shirt.
poor Chesney.
They were both boring shirts.
Yeah, boring shirt A or boring shirt B?
And he brings them into the Rovers
Who does that?
to have Gemma pick which shirt he should wear. Should I wear this boring shirt or this boring shirt? The blue one or the gray one? You're not a Civil War soldier, Chesney.
No one cares.
It's not a hard choice between the blue and the gray.
No one's looking at you.
Yay!
So as ever, we ask our Twitter followers what they thought of this week's episodes, and they voted yay, meh, or zzz in this fashion. By the way, last week's yay was 12% at the end of the poll, making it the lowest yay score we've had this year. A bit better this week. This was 34.6%, meh 23.1%, and yay 42.3%. So yay has it by a nose.
Because of the drag queen.
It's a yay for me, says Holly, purely because of the horrifyingly over-the-top decor in Debbie's flat. And
I didn't find that horrifying. I found it fabulous.
I thought they were quite horrifying. And then Scarlett says,
You live here.
and I can still find that horrifying. This is my perpetual nightmare.
Oh.
And then Scarlett says, the on-location scenes were fantastic, along with the long one-take shots that they did there, and Jenny's exit was lovely too.
Sure.
Yeah, I guess it's going to work for some people, isn't it?
I guess.
But of course, we don't let our Twitter followers or their scores influence our scores, Ellen. So what would you give this week out of 10?
I'm going to go 6.5. And it's just because of, the Canal Street scenes. I think that elevated everything up. If it wasn't there, then it would probably be like a 4 because the terrible ending they give for poor Jenny and also Bethany.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 6. And although I pretty much agree with most of what you said. Let's wrap this one up then. This episode is brought to you with thanks to our friends of the podcast. Daisy, French Helen, Pickles, DT, Wendy, Noel, Canadian Helen, Christy, Shandy, English Victoria, Aurora Yvonne, Heather Westerfield, Russell Whiting, Jackie B, Brittany Porter, Laurie Anna, Tina, Stephen, Leah, Tara J, Fiona B, Canadian Jennifer, Josephina Thingy, Anne Greenwood, Trish R, Sarah Purbrick, Ali Q, Hunker Munker, Darren, the artist formerly known as Seal My Fridge, Pamela, Marge JT, Tom Ambrose, Christopher Anstey, Terry in LA, Joe T, Corrie Dales, Matthew McKenney, Ozzy Alley,
Oi.
Welsh Emma, Matthew S, and Rachel B. Thank you ever so much, folks. We very much appreciate your support. If you've ever forgotten to write a pithy one-liner, write in to tell us about it. We're the Talk of the Street at gmail.com, and we're at Corrie Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky. Or you can reach us the old-fashioned way, the Talk of the Street, PO Box 12, Eaton Rapids, Michigan 48827. Our spoiler show will be available shortly after this one, and in October's classics, we were talking about episode 970, where Ken and Val get a
Disturbing phone call from Australia.
Get access to this exclusive content by becoming a friend of the podcast at ko-fi.com, that's ko-fi.com/The Talk of the Street, or patreon.com/The Talk of the Street, or youtube.com/The Talk of the Street podcast. Check out voggle.co.uk for links to a merch store, YouTube channel and blog. And if you're so inclined, please leave a rating and a review on the iTunes or your podcast provider of choice. And be sure to check out our pop culture sister podcast, The List of Lists.
Give Johnny Greenwood an Oscar already.
Thanks for making it to the end of another episode, and we will be back next week with more
The Talk of the Street.
The Talk of the Street.
Bye.
Cheerio.